the Pokemon Company, they're deceiving you. And they're using a Z to do it. Hello, the 31st here, how's it going? AZ's inclusion in the trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA is in many ways a masterpiece. I think it's a fascinating device that they can use in many different ways. Let me tell you why. AZ is a character that we're all familiar with, having played X and Y 10 years ago and not once since. Yet despite it being so long since the last time any of us touched that game, we all know the story well. AZ, the former king who built a great and terrible weapon that stole the souls of countless Pokemon to resurrect his beloved Floette. When he appears at the end of X and Y, it is a phenomenal moment and one of the best parts of any game, in my opinion. The immortal king whose legacy lives on. He's a memorable figure within the Pokemon world, and I think that Pokemon can use that to their advantage. AZ has what I have coined the face of Bo Immortality. For those of you who've seen the reboot of Doctor Who from the early 2000s, that name might be familiar to you. The face of Bo is a character introduced as one of the oldest creatures in the known universe, and as you can see, it looks like a massive floating head in a jar. However, it's actually another character from the show, spoilers here, but the face of Bo is Captain Jack Harkness, a former travelling companion of the Doctor, who, after being killed, was resurrected by another character, Rose, who at the time had transformed into a nearly omnipotent being after gazing into the heart of the TARDIS. Unable to control her powers, she accidentally turned him into an immortal being. The TARDIS, the Doctor's living spaceship, whose energy was transferred to a human, giving him an unnatural lifespan. Sounds familiar? Jack clearly continued to age and grow, and is said to have lived for billions of years, until finally in the year 5,053,000,053, now as the face of Bo, his life ran out. A story that parallels AZ's very closely. AZ was hit with the life energy of countless Pokemon sacrificed to the ultimate weapon, allowing him to survive for 3,000 years. However, during that time, AZ did not remain the same. We can see in the cutscenes what he looked like 3,000 years ago, and he has visibly aged since then. It also appears that he was a normal-sized man back then. Now his hair is grey, and he has continued to grow unnaturally large to over 9 feet tall. Safe to say that AZ is not truly immortal. I believe that one day the vast amounts of life energy that he was gifted will run dry, and his life will end. However, as it's taken 3,000 years to get to this point, and he still seems quite sprightly in the trailer, he probably isn't going to die anytime just yet. The point being, the whole point of this video, his presence can be used as a tool to deceive us. By showing us a familiar face, we might think that the game takes place in a time contemporary to X and Y, when in reality, given how slowly he ages, it might be hundreds of years afterwards. And right now, there's really very little way to tell. I think his hair is longer, but I don't know how quickly his hair grows, or even if he cuts it. And I really can't be bothered to figure out if he's gotten any taller. One thing I can tell you for sure though, is that he is not rich. While a 9-foot guy can't go to a store and buy suits off the rack, a rich one can definitely afford a tailor. Anyway, that's just a thought I had. When I watched the trailer, I was actually a bit disappointed that it didn't look more futuristic. But maybe, with this in mind, they're holding back on us. All we can do is wait and see. The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet character design analysis for the first 3 bosses of Team Star is available right now for all channel members. You can join for as little as $1 and watch it immediately.